Robert, when I looked through your book, Rejected, it was fascinating to me to see all these great names in tech, art, music that were turned down in some pretty harsh ways.
Yeah.
You know, like I think the Marilyn Monroe one, someone said like, find a husband or take up secretarial skills or something. And I'm wondering how much of writing the book was actually your own form of either like self-therapy or like a letter to yourself.
It wasn't done so deliberately, but it definitely became that. It was just comforting for me to see that, look, everything I've written or made isn't great, and sometimes, you know, it's right not to get purchased or whatever. But sometimes I feel like, you know, they're wrong. Like the gatekeepers or whoever it is, you know, like this is worthy. This shouldn't just die. And it was very comforting for me to learn that so many people had experienced major rejection. And really one of the keys is, I'm sure there are tons of people that we'll never hear of in all endeavors, all fields, who were rejected 5 times, 10 times, 1 time, and were brilliant at whatever it is they did, and they gave up, and we'll never hear about them. So perseverance and all that kind of stuff. It was very sort of inspiring for me to see that these great artists had just gone through it, and they hadn't said, well, yeah, maybe they're right, or I can't take this anymore, or that kind of stuff. So it was definitely comforting to me, yeah.
Have you always had thick skin, or maybe you're not thick-skinned, but does that play into part of it?
I kind of don't have thick skin, really. I kind of never have had thick skin. And sometimes I think for me, it's definitely a disadvantage in terms of my stress level kind of stuff. Like I take stuff very personally, and I get, but you know, it's sort of what you do about it. You know, something can be a stumbling block, or it can be a stepping stone, that kind of thing. So yeah, I always have pretty thin skin, but you know, after all, I guess it becomes thick because you just sort of soldier through it. But every rejection hurts, and yeah.
You don't give off that appearance that you have thin skin. You seem like you're confident and that things don't get to you. So what's your advice to other people that they have that living inside of them? Because I've seen a lot of great people give up and become really disillusioned and leave LA and become upset because they got this one person telling them something terrible about their work, and it was just that one person and they just had it.
Right. I mean, you know, I hesitate to say this because it's kind of harsh, but frankly, I think if you're the kind of person who gives up when you get some particularly harsh criticism, or you don't really belong wherever it is. So I think, you know, for me, I have a big ego, you know, and I very often will say, I have trusted friends and people that I will show stuff to, whatever it is, a script or whatever. And I'm totally open to feedback, and usually I'll agree with it. Sometimes I won't. So when I'm about to send it out to the world and to gatekeepers and producers and stuff like that, I'm generally in a place with that material where I feel like it's bulletproof. So really nothing's going to get me off my game where I think, yeah, maybe they're right. Maybe I should just, I'm not supposed to be doing this. And before I sort of, you know, I say that mindful of the fact that I've actually had some stuff produced. So what about the person that never has? And they're like, maybe the person's right. Maybe these people are right and I shouldn't be doing this. To that I would say, if you have this passion inside you, like I need to write a book or write a script or make a movie or whatever, just do it yourself on a very small scale, you know? And then you don't have to worry about sort of the tastemakers and things like that. Yeah.
Did Wall Street strengthen your thin skin? You think being on Wall Street?
Maybe. I mean, because a lot of Wall Street's dealing with strangers and people are rude and hang up on you and that kind of stuff. In business, it's cutthroat for sure down there. But I think just as a function of getting older, you know, after being alive for a certain amount of time, you deal with all this kind of stuff. and it either strengthens you or it squashes you, and you're that kind of person or you're not. I just believe that if somebody has this thing that they need to do, they're going to do it. And it doesn't matter if there are 10,000 people saying no. It's either going to spur them on to continue, and you just put their nose down, head down, and or they're going to just crumble and they're going to say, okay, and that's not the kind of people we need making stuff. So let them go back to wherever and be a plumber. That's life, tough.
Right. Can you get squashed and then reset?
I think you have to kind of get squashed. It's just a question of how you deal with it. I don't know there probably are examples of famous whatevers who just got lucky and right out of the gate they come this way, like you're a star. But it's very unusual. I think it's an important part. We talked a little bit about this before, but going through, there's an old saying, I almost don't want to say it because I'm using it in a script, but I'll say it. Nah, I'm not going to say it. All right, so I think you need to sort of get tossed around a little bit to strengthen your resolve and to, see what you're made of, kind of thing. And I think it helps your art, helps all that kind of stuff. If you have it easy, if you just boom, I don't know, I think your art suffers for it. I think it's important to sort of go through some tribulations. Yeah.